so happy we're recording right now.
You see, I study at the altar of the Disney movies. Which is ironic, because I have Law & Order on in the TV here, and Jerry Orbach was the candles in Beauty and the Beast.
So, do we just want to go?
I think we should just go, or else, you know, Disney might shut this down for all the Disney songs we're singing without paying.
So Alright, everybody, and we're back. Finally, we're going to talk about the Days of Future Past spoiler cast right here.
Finally.
Spoiler. Yep,
it's about damn time.
I mean, we've been waiting for this. Yeah, so here with me this week is Shay.
What is up? We need some Yoda baby.
Yes.
Joe.
What's up?
Matt.
Prepare for the butt hurt.
Tom.
Prepare for the shitworms from the butt.
And Paul Blart.
Oh, I feel so alone this podcast. I feel like I'm the only one carrying the flag here, the X flag, the X gene.
I like the movie.
I like the movie.
Yeah, I've got to talk about that shit.
Yeah, I gotta talk. So here's how this episode's gonna work, guys.
I've dropped my score.
No, guys. I got how this episode works. Shay is going to put her hands around my dick, right?
Okay.
The entire time she holds them there, I'm going to go back to episode 1 of CBC and rewrite history, but she has to hold on the entire time, and then every episode in the future is going to get rewritten, so Joe and Matt never join, and Ben is actually controlling everything. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
We're going to rewrite everything because fuck logic, okay?
I think Armin is trying to say that I don't give really good hand jobs,
I think
I will destroy the future.
I think what Armin's saying is that his dick is a time machine.
But see, here's the thing, right? Back in the past, I wasn't the same person I am, so unless this happens, I have no hope for anything. So how did the CBC ever come to exist up until this point? It's never explained, okay?
I feel like that should be in a porn parody, though, like holding on to the dick.
But in this alternate future, is Sean Bishop?
Yes. He gets killed off right in the beginning. He only lasts 4 episodes.
Well, because you gotta kill the black guy first, I mean, in this darker future.
Yeah. Right. So, in case you couldn't tell, that's my major issue with this movie. The complete throwaway that they do with Professor X, like, oh, but I was way different. But thanks, Logan, because you set me on the right path. I'm like, so how did Charles from X1, 2, and 3 get on the path himself then if it took Wolverine to do it?
Well, you know, they gave him the PG-13 drug to try and explain it away. Like, oh, I was a different man. Why? Because I was on drugs. I was on...
No, but there's one thing I wanted, like... Okay, because Logan had to go back to stop, you know, bring Professor X back and all this, but one thing they could have done is said that there was a bad guy who went into the past to make the Sentinels happen and to make Charles be like that because he tried to change everything because he's the bad guy for the movie.
Someone.
They should have had like Mr. Sinister or something like that.
Right.
Oh yeah. See, if they had did that, it would have explained a lot more. Yeah, for me at least.
It's, you know, it's like I get the feeling I like the movie more than anyone else here, but I will fully admit that the foundation in which the movie is built on, it's kind of built on a foundation of bullshit by essentially giving Kitty Pryde a power she never had in the comics, if only to pay homage to the fact that she was the one who originally got sent back in time.
And the deleted scenes actually are like deleted plot points as well that make the film even better.
One of the parts I really wasn't feeling like, Trask, for all intents and purposes, is just Tyrion Lannister.
Yep.
Yeah, he really is.
That's all he was doing in there. And
well, I'm glad they just didn't make him proto-Striker, where it's like, I hate the mutants. He's like, no, I actually like the mutants.
And they never gave us a reason why he exactly hated the mutants.
Right.
Like,
he didn't hate them. He just wanted to exploit them.
You know,
predatory
the
business,
thing is, they're like, okay, so here's the Sentinels. They used Mystique for the future and all that junk, right? But once again, this was never glossed over in any other movie up until this point.
Exactly. No build-up. No build-up.
Right, and, you know, you can say whatever you will. You know, we had Trask Industries appear for 3 seconds at the end of the Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
But that was nothing, considering that meant nothing to anything. Like, that could have been so... Like, you could have put, you know, Stark Industries or, you know, Oscorp there would have meant the same thing. It doesn't matter.
And especially since that part in the Wolverine is, like, not canon anymore.
The thing that pissed me off the most, though, is Bryan Singer said in an interview, he said that scene where Logan goes to the past and he sees his bone claws, he's like, this is shocking to him because he hasn't seen these in, like, 30 years. It's like, he just saw them in the fucking Wolverine.
He just saw them.
Well, don't forget.
Well, he didn't direct that movie, so it doesn't count.
Also, in the future scenes where they're fighting to get into the temple, he's still adamantiumed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they completely undid the great movie that came before it.
Yeah, like,
wasn't
how's he got
Bryan Singer
adamantium?
Yeah, but it wasn't enough for Bryan Singer to ruin the ending of the Wolverine by taking away the mask and stuff. But he basically retconned it, and that's what pissed me off the most.
Right.
Yeah, he's retconned everything apart from the World War II beginning of Wolverine. Like everything else doesn't happen.
I do want to
He's
say,
also retconned. Like, he's
Wouldn't
kept
First
bits from
Class-
X-Men 3 of all movies.
Well, wouldn't First Class still technically happen like the before it at least? You know what I mean?
right, First
like,
Class is the only movie that's canon now to both timelines. from
And
what I'm
like all that
gathering.
past.
Yeah.
Wolverine Origins is completely gone. The Wolverine has been completely wiped out. And parts of X1 and 2 exist, I guess? Maybe.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I was saying. Like parts of
Actually-
the Wolverine exist, like him in World War II exists. It's just like the Wolverine now. They could like reboot that movie, but
Right.
set it further in the future.
And
this-
I think my main issue with this movie comes with the continuity, which even if I take the continuity out, I'm
But you
okay with the
kind of
movie.
have to
But
enjoy it.
Here's my problem. All those mutants that they brought out on stage, like, it's the biggest movie ever, the biggest gathering of, superheroes ever. They're just throwaway.
All of them.
Yeah.
All
Like,
of
the
them.
beginning
They
of the
die
movie,
within like 5 seconds of
But-
their
but you
appearing
gotta
on screen.
But it was a cool
though.
fight scene to me at least. I thought it
You
was
got to
cool.
appreciate though that for once this was a movie that wasn't all completely about Wolverine.
True.
If anything, it's all about Mystique
And
this
see,
time around.
I will say my ultimate grumble in the theater, the ultimate, was when they're like, oh yeah, like a quick gloss over. Oh yeah, you remember all these mutants you actually liked that got character development in First
In
Class?
First Class,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're
they're
dead,
dead.
including Azazel, who they captured when he wasn't looking.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like,
I'm
how
like,
do you catch a
"Ugh."
teleporter? How the hell do you catch the devil? How do you kill the devil? They killed the devil in between movies. It feels like there should have been another movie, if not like a comic tie-in to explain what happened in the 10 years.
Right, right.
And then,
Like, there's
of
a
course-
huge fucking gap of unexplained shit that I would really like it if they went back to at some point.
And we
Talking
also
of-
now don't have Nightcrawler, because if Azazel's dead,
Yeah, what the
Then
fuck
he
happened with
then
that?
we have no Nightcrawler
if you
unless in
remember-
that 10 years she had the baby and then abandoned
Well,
it.
in X2, there's the scene where they're standing outside a jet, and she goes, so you teleport? And he goes, yeah. She's like, oh, I used to know a guy that could do that.
Yeah.
Referencing Azazel at that point. But now that never, like...
So you
Again-
control metal? My mum knew a guy that could do
Oh.
that.
Control metal.
Oh,
can I
Peter.
say, I didn't mind Peter,
He was fun.
okay?
Yeah, but,
Peter.
then it
He
just
is
like
there.
adds the question like, why didn't he just go with them to Paris? Why
'Cause he
didn't
was
he
too
when he saw it on?
Yeah.
Why
I
didn't
thought
he
he was
see it
just
when
a
he
kid,
saw it
that's
on
why.
TV
Movie in
when it
seconds,
helped?
that's why.
Because
And
he
that
was-
too, but isn't he just like a kid though, really? And I mean, they're gonna try to bring him to this war.
you know-
I
No,
mean,
it's
yeah.
obvious. It's
Let's-
obvious why they didn't keep
I
him
mean,
around.
let's
It's
be
the
honest
same
with this
reason they
scene,
can't keep around a
we know
teleporter.
that he was thrown
Yeah.
in there at the last addition to the script because it was originally the guy that played Stryker who was going to be the Juggernaut, and they
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
actually going
Juggernaut.
to do the whole half-brother story with X.
Which I wish
But,
they did.
Yeah.
they rewrote that for Quicksilver for obvious reasons that Avengers is going to have him. Now, my question is, they put him in there, they didn't even get his fucking name right.
I know,
Which,
they
okay, I'm
called it-
okay with. The outfit, yeah, it's ridiculous, but whatever.
Whatever.
At least the sequence was awesome.
Oh, it was
But
super
then-
cool.
Yeah.
They
Great.
completely take that character and just like completely waste him. Which honestly, the way he was portrayed is straight up Quicksilver from the fucking comics. So
Yeah, where he's being a dick, but a likable dick, and he's fun. And
Yeah,
hey,
I
I don't think
great
he was
use.
that likable.
Oh, and I did a little bit of research. So the reason they can't say that he is his father, they don't own that.
Oh, do they?
So so Avengers can say it,
But
but
they
they're
don't
not
have
allowed
Magneto.
to mention Magneto the mutant, so they can't. And X-Men cannot say it because
So-
he wasn't his son first. It was later
So could-
added.
They
Could
basically said it,
Avengers
though.
like say, "Oh, my dad Eric is like kind
Right,
of a
right.
dick."
Oh, yeah.
Or
Well, that will
Max
just
Eisenart.
that'll just confuse the shit out of people if they put that in, which is also kind of funny when you stop and think where it's like, oh, so you mean Magneto during his, Nazi killing spree, he had time to father these kids, just, he had to bust his metal nut somewhere.
Whoa. He only fathered one of them. Because Quicksilver was like, what, 3 in that fucking movie for that quick glimpse you see of her on a lap or something?
I guess.
Oh, no, the thing is they could have write that off that he grows quicker
So-
because of the fact that he runs so fast, so
Maybe
he
that's why he's such a
advances.
dick, because he's actually
So-
only 8 years old.
What I'm saying is we boycott this movie because they didn't put Polaris in it.
Oh, well, clearly. I mean, no Polaris, no justice. So, I mean, obviously we could gripe about continuity problems all day and night. I mean, they really didn't attempt to fix any, but I didn't think they were going to try.
I think the best thing that this did was, it essentially, they did Star Trek the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, more or less. For better or worse. And it's funny you should mention Star Trek, because in explaining the time travel, what do they have on the TV in the background? Friggin' Star Trek! What are the time travel episodes? That's so fucking clever.
To me, it's Bryan Singer saying, look, I would have been a much better director than...
More or less.
Yeah. Well, he would have been a much better director than Abrams, since he actually likes the shit.
I'm not even talking Abrams, I'm talking the new guy, like Ortsy or Courtsy, whatever his name is.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This is basically the Star Trekking of X-Men, for better or for worse, and I think it actually kind of worked out here for the most part. Again, the thing that I would really say about this movie is that it is thematically strong across the board. Like, there's a lot going on between the interpersonal character stuff. He definitely got the soap opera of X-Men, right, where, you know, it's like Magneto and Charles battling for the soul of Mystique, but Mystique kind of wants to break free and do her own thing.
I also thought Beast was kind of fucking lame. Like, in he's hulking out and he's acting shocked, you know, about it. But then in X3, if they were going to rectify that, like, he acts shocked when he goes near that fucking Baldy McCure kid.
Well, again, it's not in continuity. I appreciate that they actually remembered that Hank McCoy is a super scientist, so he designs the drug to retard mutant powers. He designs a machine to capture news footage. I'm like, okay, they got the smart portion of him right, and they got the strong portion of him right. He beats up your boy Magneto pretty hard.
Like, to me, this movie wasn't a step forward. It was like a sidestep. Like, they just sidestepped everything. Like, they didn't go anywhere new, like, you know, other studios are trying. They played it safe.
I'll tell you what it's like.
It worked.
It's like in Man of Steel when Zod throws the gas tanker at Superman. He just sort of flies over the top of it and lets it explode behind him, killing thousands of people.
You know, it was necessary. I think, if anything, Days of Future Past was necessary to kind of try and, you know, cauterize the wound of this series and keep it going in the future. And I think they honestly made the best of it. I mean, there was some good stuff there, you know with Mystique, you know, almost gunning down all those people and whatnot, but, you know, she makes a choice. Choice is a real theme of this movie. Unwinnable wars is another theme I actually really appreciated, because one of my big complaints was like, oh, how are they going to explain how the X-Men broke up? Oh, Vietnam. Oh, okay, that's a good answer, actually.
I feel
Vietnam.
like one of my main reasons I'm really excited for the future movies now is they've wiped everything out. We don't know who the first class will be, the official first class, you know, of the new X-Men. So they could, you know, be like, oh, here's Cyclops, here's a Marvel Girl, here's Beast, oh, here's Angel. They could legitimately now do the original first class.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping them from doing the original X-Men now.
They can retell stories that we've seen, like, we can bring back Sabretooth and retell the, you know, whole Wolverine thing. And I think that's... I think a fresh aspect with new eyes on the series is going to be very good.
Yeah, this was definitely a clearing of the slate, and I guess, you know, trying to reassure, you know, fans of the series, where it's like, hey, it's going to be new, we can maybe do it right this time and try and fix what we broke the first time around. And no Ratners allowed.
Right.
I'll tell you what, though, talking of Ratner, one thing that surprised me was how much of X3 remained canon in this film. Like, they kept a lot of shit. Like how Jean Grey died.
Stay, you know.
Yeah, but the fact that Jean Grey died, they actually used scenes from the film. The fact that Kelsey Grammer is still Beast. The fact that
they kind of had to, didn't they? Because the Wolverine had that, like, a lot, and that was a lot.
Yeah, but they retconned more of Wolverine than they did X-Men 3.
Well, of course. I mean, there was.
Which begs the question: why the fuck even make the film if you're just going to retcon it in the next one?
That's what the movie feels
like.
Why
is there a sequel to the Wolverine?
You know, if this movie didn't exist, I feel like, okay, whatever. Like, you just keep chugging along the same broken chugging you've been doing, you know?
Well, you know what it is? It's we gotta fix the series, but more importantly, we also need to keep Hugh Jackman involved, because we still think Jackman is the draw to this.
Okay, so there's the thing. Hugh Jackman is going to stay, right? He's going to be Wolverine for the fucking next decade also, just like the last decade. Is it really that important to hinder, you know, the entire franchise on? I mean, they're not going, well, fuck it, Robert Downey Jr.'s out, we need to jump timelines. They should have, no, fuck it, just move along, right?
Well, but that's the thing. They don't have the courage of their convictions like those other studios, because as far as the bigwigs and the suits are concerned, Wolverine is this series. And I mean, really, there's no evidence to the contrary of that. Sadly, the Wolverine movies make more money than the non-Wolverine-centric movies. So of course they want to try and keep him in, which is kind of a catch-22 because even though, we don't like what it does to the series, we kind of have to step back and go, yeah, but Hugh Jackman's really fucking good as Wolverine, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really harsh, like, monkey's paw thing where it's like, I'd love to see this series without him, but still.
Okay, where do we go then with the next Wolverine movie? Because Mangold is still doing it.
Yeah, that's what I just said. They're making a sequel to the Wolverine, yet they just retconned it. So what?
They're going to show what's retcon.
Like, is it going to be in like the 2 years between the ending where the suit would have been in the briefcase and the scene where they meet him at Trask Industries? Because if that's the case, the movie's useless. Like, there's no reason to watch that movie for it to exist.
But even then, with just that movie, what about, like, Apocalypse? Because they say Apocalypse is supposed to be this whole disaster movie where it's going to be, like, it's going to be big, right? But at the end of Days of Future Past...
evoke Roland Emmerich movies. And I'm like,
oh, God.
But like at the end of Days of Future Past, you see them at the end in 2023 in Days of Future Past, and Logan wakes up. He's like, "Oh, everything's cool. Like they're at the school or whatever." And Charles is there. Like that means nothing's gonna happen in Apocalypse. Basically, like they're gonna win at the end.
Because Apocalypse is gonna take place in what the
80s. Yeah, 80s.
Yeah. So it doesn't like how. Is that future still like that? Like, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
be
how is it going to be
different?
like in danger if we already know they're all going to be okay?
That means in the 80s they already fixed it, defeated him, but Wolverine doesn't.
So
remember.
then, why do we need an Apocalypse movie if we know how it's going to fucking end?
The worst part of this movie is literally, I think, the ending because he wakes up in the ending, but he wakes up in the future, therefore. We know Jean Grey. We know she's not gonna Phoenix it up. She's there. We know Beast is alive. Like
we know Scott doesn't.
So when we go into Apocalypse, we're like, all right. So well, here we go.
Maybe Apocalypse is one of those threats where it's like, oh, he's threatening the past, present, and future all at once.
Oh my god.
So pretty much a retelling of Days of Future Past.
Yeah, where it's like, Apocalypse exists in all timelines. We need to defeat him in all timelines for it to work.
That would be so stupid, because Kitty would only be able to send one person at a time. So are you going to send like Wolverine in 3 different times? Or you're just going to see Wolverine, a CG of him, and a non-CG, and then him just old?
Or maybe they should do the proper X-Men thing, the thing they always did in the comics, where they introduced Forge and be like, hey, I'm Forge, I built a fucking time machine, I can send everybody back now.
So we can all see them fighting together instead of just...
And then he'll die 2 seconds after being introduced.
After being useful, because it's like, well, can't keep Forge around now because he's too fucking useful, better kill him.
So, I mean, let's talk about that then, because we know they're going to the, 80s next movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we know Gambit's going to be a big part of it.
Dazzler,
80s
Dazzler.
So yeah, Quicksilver's going to be back in. Gambit's going to be in it. Apocalypse is the main villain. I mean, you can already. It's going to be a huge disaster movie.
Let's put Blink in it because her fucking power. Was
Blink was amazing. Yeah.
No, she's a teleporter. Blink is too useful. We can't keep Blink around because we can't keep any teleporters around for more than one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Blink is far too useful. Blink would end the entire movie because she's too good.
But it's kind of like where they would, how it's like I really want to know how they're gonna do that because I guess they're sort of starting from scratch again in a way.
In a way, they kind of are.
Yeah, in a way they are kind of not.
There's a few lines in this movie I absolutely loved, and I swear to God that, they were really frickin' meta, and I really hope that the writers meant them as much. There's, of course, the great line with Charles going, I don't want your future, Wolverine. Future, I don't want your future. And then the other line from Charles, too, where he's like, this is our chance to redefine ourselves. Like, I literally thought he was looking at the audience at that point, basically saying, this is our chance to fix the shit that was broken, only in doing so, breaking more shit.
Right.
How is Wolverine gonna get its adamantium? Because he can't just have... Because I remember people were saying, oh my god, when Magneto put that metal inside him, that's just gonna be close. No, it's not. It has to be adamantium.
Yeah, like, what's with the fucking ending of Days of Future Past?
Okay, so... like, I'm glad you're bringing that up, because there is no feasible fucking way in the history of whatever the fuck happens to Wolverine, because he still remembers the old timeline, and he's the only one. There's no way he's going to be like, well, I need these adamantium costs, time to go find a Stryker guy and relive all this shit, right?
No, he's not. He's not like the Wolverine that's in the past where Mystique picked him up. That's not the Wolverine that was fighting out before. He's in the future. That's like, it's basically the last couple weeks didn't happen to him. The last thing he remembers was he was waking up in that bed, or he was asleep in that bed with the girl. It's kind of weird how time travel works there, but
Like the past Wolverine just thinks he took some bad acid.
Yeah, but the Wolverine that got picked up, he won't remember what he did with Charles or anybody because he went back to the future, and that's why he says, I don't remember the last 50 years.
So then what the fuck's gonna happen in Apocalypse when 80s Wolverine teams up again with...
Charles probably gonna be like,
team up with him, right?
Yeah, he's gonna go look for Wolverine.
Claws, and he wouldn't go fucking back to what's his name?
Stryker.
Like he's not gonna make those same mistakes before because in the future
when he doesn't remember the future.
No, but he doesn't. No, in the future when he wakes up and he talks to Charles, he questions him and he says that line, and Charles is like, "Oh, we got lots to talk about," because he knows what happened.
No, he doesn't. Oh, Charles knows, but Wolverine doesn't because he didn't live those 50 years that like after he didn't live Apocalypse. What's gonna happen in the 80s? He didn't.
See, this is why Jesus Christ.
I don't make sense. When you think, like, if you take the time, I mean, that's the problem. You have to take the time and think about it, which is an issue with a movie like this. You shouldn't have to.
No, but it was basically. I'll try to explain it as simple as possible because I even had trouble.
Not doing a great job there, Joe.
I'll try because I had trouble too. Okay, so Wolverine in the future. You know, okay, there's Wolverine in the temple. Kitty Pryde sends him back. And then once Kitty Pryde is not there, it jumps back to the future again, but it'll just be different. You know what I mean?
Well, no, this is the reason why he has the adamantium claws. He has the adamantium claws because Mystique knows somehow she's going to be connected. She's going to know it all. She knows that Stryker's the reason why, and she's going to give him the adamantium claws. That's why she poses as Stryker the whole time. So he's going to still live it. He's still going to get his claws. It's not going to be anything, but she's going to be the reason why.
Okay, let's point this fact out, right? Jennifer Lawrence wants the fuck out of this movie franchise. So doesn't Nicholas Hoult Beast. So doesn't Michael Fassbender. And fucking James McAvoy. They all want out of this franchise because they say it's grueling, they're not getting paid shit. They've reset everything just to cater to fucking Hugh Jackman Wolverine, right? In one movie, all these actors are done. So what the fuck do? You're stuck in a loophole again.
Well, then you do the next mutation.
But nobody from the future cast is going to come back. No one from the first class actors is coming back because they've been so lowballed and treated like shit.
Oh, yeah.
And you finally do X-Force. You take X-Force off the shelf and you do that finally.
Oh my god.
But that's what Liefeld was saying recently. Because of Apocalypse, X-Force ain't happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not happening no more. So
basically.
It's their ace in the hole for when it's done.
No, their ace in the hole is that Fantastic Four movie that's coming.
Since you just mentioned that, can we talk about the Marvel blackout that's happening?
We already talked about that one on the last episode.
Oh, did you? Okay,
yeah, I pretty much glossed over saying, it's happening, whatever. So, I mean...
I just love that it's happening.
Why did everybody score this movie? Because I gave it a 7.5. I think it's right there.
See, I gave it a 7, but then people, like, shat on me because I didn't give it a 10 out of 10. So because of that, I'm dropping my score.
Wow, Matt, way to be petty.
I'd give it a 7 or 7.5. So maybe an 8 on a good day. But like, yeah, 7.5.
When I walked out of this movie, this is what I said. This movie I will buy, and I will happily watch it, as opposed to The Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm never watching again unless it's for the Like, I can watch this movie. Like,
it's a good film. It's a cool film.
I thought, I think everybody here, even Tom, thinks that Days of Future Past is better than 2002.
I haven't given my score yet, but basically, a lot of the people on the Secret Avengers group are probably...
Well, it ain't so secret now!
They can't find it, even if they want to be part of it, so don't even try. But on that, I gave it a 2.5 just to piss people off.
You troll. Tom the troll.
And I told them that I wasn't going to discuss it, and if they wanted to know why I gave it a low score, so listen to this. Well, if you're listening, I was trolling you. I actually gave it a 7.
If First Class for me is a 9, then this is at least an 8. It's easily the second best X-Men movie in my mind. Definitely the best one Singer's ever done.
Oh, I think X-Men 2 was better. But
really? Okay, well, we can debate that later on. But yeah, I really love this one. I think it's thematically strong. Even though it is kind of built up on a lot of bullshit, I think it did a lot of what it needed to do. And actually, it built on a lot of the good stuff from First Class. What worked in that movie works here too. It's not as tight, it's not as coherent, but damn, Singer learned to do action, and that was pretty bitchin'.
Like, I'm judging it when I base it to First Class, which everybody knows I'm a huge fanboy, right? That's my favorite.
Well, you have to compare.
That's my favorite comic book movie, so this is the sequel, and I'm looking at it with an open mind, but I'm like, Magneto in the last movie was so one-minded and like he felt like Magneto. In this, they were literally like, okay, well, we need this set piece, but Magneto's not on that side, so let's make him flip-flop, over to do this set piece, and then after that set piece, we need this set piece where he's going to be on this guy's alliance. And, for me personally, that kind of broke it. But then yet again, like, the set pieces were so good and grand, they looked epic, but I'm like, I would rather go back to the first way in X2 where you don't have the big set piece, but the emotional payoff means more.
Yeah.
Like, him levitating that stadium and those fucking machines, it's cool, but it was much cooler to see him levitate a submarine for a personal reason.
It's substance versus spectacle. First Class had a lot of substance because it couldn't afford a lot of spectacle. Days of Future Past can afford a lot of spectacle, and as such, peels back the substance a little bit more. Not to say that there isn't some great substance in this movie. There is, just not as much as First Class. It really is a different strokes for different folks, what your taste is sort of deal.
Yeah.
Makes me think if Sean stroked that hose now.
What did Sean give that movie, like a 6?
Yeah, probably.
Now, was Sean being a troll, or he just couldn't wrap his head around all the different continuity
I
flaws?
think he actually legitimately gave it a 6.
I think Sean's being a continuity queen, and I can say that because he's not here. Although, to be fair, we spent the first 15 minutes all being continuity queens, so who am I to talk? I'll just shut the hell up.
Okay, now that we're done talking about that, want to talk about the future of these movies? Because where do they go? Because we know Fox isn't letting it go. They have to produce a new one every 3 years.
And this one's being a cash cow right now, so of course they're
this is the biggest opening X-Men movie. So.
The sequel to Wolverine, an untitled Marvel Fox film, not with Marvel Studios, just like the Fox film, and Fantastic Four before that.
And X-Force whenever that one comes off the show.
I mean, some people say that untitled one could be X-Force, but who knows?
I mean, I think we're obviously going to get the Wolverine 2. We're going to get Apocalypse, but I think the third one's going to be the very ill-fated X-Men Fantastic Four crossover movie.
Only if Fantastic Four does good, though.
Exactly. You gotta
think
think
if it actually gets off the ground.
Yeah, and if it actually does,
I feel like filming yet.
Yeah.
No, they're burying themselves 6 feet under.
They haven't started filming yet, so.
I feel like it can't be any worse than we're imagining it to be. I feel like it can't be any worse, but I mean, I could be wrong.
You say that, but
when it comes out, we'll see. I feel like it can't be.
Occam's razor, anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
I remember when Catwoman was announced, and I thought, how the hell can you do a Catwoman movie without Batman? This is going to suck, but I wasn't expecting it to suck that much.
You weren't expecting them to use nothing.
DC.
You weren't expecting them to not have the same name, the same city, basically the same anything.
I was expecting something. But what we got was just 2 hours of nothing.
So what you're saying is Catwoman.
Man of Steel.
So what you're saying is Catwoman riff incoming.
So you say you got the average DC film?
Ouch.
Catwoman wasn't even visually interesting. At least Man of Steel had that going for it.
I haven't even watched Catwoman. I never will.
Can you even call Catwoman a DC film? It doesn't use anything from the comics. If you changed the name, there would have been no way to tell.
True, because if a DC movie sucks, it doesn't exist, according to DC fanboys.
Catwoman is the female Dylan dog.
Ooh, double feature.
We're gonna get Sean on that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about that X-Men? I know I keep pitching it, but if they really wanted to do something interesting for the next Wolverine movie, and Lord knows they already used the Japan story, just set it super far in the future. Do Old Man Logan so you don't have to deal with continuity. Just say hey, this is super long in the future. This is the final days of Wolverine.
Like a year or two before Days of Future Past starts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean,
way in the future. Yeah, exactly.
2050. 2050.
He's saying once everybody's dead.
Oh, way in the... Oh, damn.
Once everybody's dead, there's no more mutants.
Yeah, once Wolverine's killed everyone.
He's the last alive.
As much as I'd like to see Old Man Logan, I think they should wait until Hugh Jackman is actually legitimately old.
He is old.
No, but I'm talking in his mid-60s.
Oh, you're talking frickin' Dirty Harry age,
so about 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Just have him stop lifting weights for about half a year, and he'll look old and broken like he needs to.
Oh my god!
Now get him to lift all the weights, and then tell him to stop, and then start filming a couple of months later, and he's just sort of, like that photo of Arnold Schwarzenegger
when he's Schwarzeneggering his muscles.
Yeah.
When he's puffy.
You know the photo I mean?
When he's first blood, when he's not Rambo.
Yeah.
When he's
like
puffy.
Stallone if he didn't take steroids now.
There you go, like that. Yeah, I mean, because really, maybe the Genesis virus, that could be an interesting storyline for future X-Men movies. Like, all the X-Men are dying because of a synthetic...
I wouldn't mind them retelling the third X-Men film, but good.
Yeah.
Oh, the Phoenix storyline?
Oh, the Phoenix storyline. Hey, they can do that now.
Maybe more about the Cure.
Oh, okay, yeah. That'd be
Cure storyline. Yeah, do it right. Well, again, that's the thing now. Now that the slate has been cleaned, they have a chance to do a lot of the stories they fucked up, only, to do them right.
I feel like they need to obviously do Apocalypse. I want to see the Horseman. I want to see Sinister. I want to see Arcade.
Yes, Arcade. For the love of Christ, put Arcade in a movie.
Look,
you did the time travel movie.
You know what? They could even take the Hunger Games approach, being like, you know what? We could do X-Men Academy or something. A bunch of young X-Men use like Jubilee and shit, put them in arcade, do like a Hunger Games style, mutants fighting each other like they did Avengers Arena.
That
would be so awesome.
That was a phenomenal comic
I
series.
think they should do. You could do X-23 in there. I mean, you can use all the nobodies, shove them in there, and have a legitimately good standalone film.
And have it be like the main older X-Men are trying to save the younger X-Men, so you can have two stories going on if you must. And that way the older X-Men can do less, and they can do less work. They can be there more as support, more as like cameos or something.
You mean like the future X-Men in Days of Future Past?
Yeah, actually, I actually do mean that, actually.
I want a movie where Rogue finds out that Xavier's had this drug since the late 70s that can suppress her powers and hasn't given it to her. So she kills him just because she's so horny.
It doesn't suppress the powers, guys. All it does was it made his mind weak, and that's why he couldn't use his powers.
That is so
but it worked on
I thought it went to like...
suppress his power. It made himself weak-minded.
But I thought it went to the point in the mind. At least what I remember is that it went to some point in the mind or somewhere where the X-Men gene, that whole where they get their powers. Where some no, never mind. I forget shit. I forget.
No,
if it worked on Beast, it'll work on Rogue.
It just
suppressed his mind.
Yeah,
it was to retard his mutant abilities, yet somehow that also gave him the ability to walk, which makes you think, what the fuck aren't you selling this to people in wheelchairs, you asshole? You have the cure for being crippled.
I think that Singer watched that animated series episode where Xavier and Magneto are on that island or something, and like he can walk because his powers don't work.
Yeah, for some reason.
I mean, when I was a kid, I actually didn't know about like the fact that he got crippled like with a gun or whatever it was like in the comics. I actually thought that his brain was just so powerful, like his body just didn't work.
It sucked energy from his legs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I actually thought that's what happened to Stephen Hawking. I thought he was just so brainy that the rest of his body just couldn't handle it. So he's in order to be so smart, he had to give up the rest of his body's functions.
Quick, go hunt down Stephen Hawking.
He's a mutant.
Oh, remember, guys, if you want to find Stephen Hawking, you just need to go to a swingers party.
Yeah, true.
Oh, call him back an old episode there.
Also, for other... Or no, you go ahead, Matt. I'll come back to it.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what I want to know. I want to know why Trask had such a fucking hard time approving these Sentinels when they had a magnetically powered mutant down in the basement, for apparently killing the president.
Yeah, that they were just keeping alive for like 10 years and they weren't doing anything with him. Like, you think they would just set him up to a firing squad and get it over with.
But no, guys, there's that one guy that's in the comments that's going to explain all of this because he just sucks the clock blindly.
Well, apparently the deal with the script is that they tried to reconcile Matthew Vaughn's script that was going to actually, hinge around the Kennedy assassination, Mystique turning into Kennedy, and Emma Frost was going to be involved, and the stuff in Vietnam. Apparently they mushed that together with the whole Days of Future Past storyline that Singer did, so that's why a lot of those storylines feel a lot of malformed, which I'm really hoping they put them back on the DVD, because there's some interesting stories. Like, I want to know what the deal with those mutants in Vietnam were. I want to know what that's about. I want to know about Anna Paquin, who shows up for 3 seconds in the movie, yet somehow gets billing over Jennifer Lawrence.
I mean, Singer seems to have a real knack for cutting really interesting sequences. I mean, have you guys seen the alternate opening to Superman Returns?
No, I have.
Yes. Yeah, I have.
It's like they complete all the CGI. Like, he goes to Krypton, he finds like the place where his parents died and stuff like that. Like, it's really, really good, and there's no dialogue. It's just really, it's
eerie.
Yeah, it's eerie. It's a tone that Superman Returns desperately needed, but then again, like, it didn't. It's not a tone that continued out through the rest of the movie. So,
what we're saying is we really want a director's cut for this movie, is what we're
everybody
saying.
wants a
I feel like
director's
it should
cut
have
of
been
everything.
about a half hour longer.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I rarely say that about superhero
Include
movies.
the actual plot and everything.
Because they're getting long enough as it is, but you really feel like they cut a lot from that future thing where it's like, what was the point of even getting all these actors back if you were just going to cut all their scenes in the future?
Right.
Because apparently there's a whole long storyline involving Rogue and Iceman and everything.
I've just remembered one of my biggest nitpicks about the movie. I can't believe I forgot to mention. You know how when they send Wolverine back, they say, as you're there, time will continue to move while we are here and all that.
Uh-huh.
So basically, Wolverine in the past was there for weeks.
Oh,
so
yeah, she was holding them for weeks, according to them.
Did
See,
she just
I had
not
the same
sleep?
problem.
Like, did
I
she
had the
not
same-
sleep at all? Like, I mean, all the stuff that happened, like, they get on
Yeah.
a jet, they're
She
about to
bled
get
out
attacked,
for
and they
5
get on a
days.
plane to go to DC. So what happened during that 2 hours while they're just on the flight? Like, did
And
they
that's
sort
why
of
I
sit
think-
there and just be like, they're coming, just not do anything and wait until
And
they
I
get
know
to the
someone's going
epic
to say,
moment
but no,
before
she
we
was
actually bother?
phasing them forward. I'm like, no, that's not how it works, and she even said it.
I thought, see, I had this problem too when I was talking to it with Mitch and like Anthony, and they were saying that in the beginning when she sends Bishop back, like it only took a couple minutes, didn't it? And he went like a week.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it's still you wouldn't get the exact, like she'd still be waiting there a long time though.
It just didn't make sense the way that the time was flowing in this.
You know
Like there
what
was
really
just
doesn't-
huge gaps in the
Peters.
future.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
I do want
are
to
we
say...
led to believe she just stayed awake for like 2 weeks straight?
And she
We
peed and
absolutely
shit
are.
But
herself
guys,
a lot.
here's my main plot hole. The biggest plot hole in any movie ever, right? If you can save your entire species with sex, then why the fuck do you need the Codex on Krypton?
Oh,
Wow, Army.
No! Cal! I need your blood because it's the only way to save our species. Hey, Jor-El had sex and he created a kid. That's pretty good. Why don't you just go fuck each other and save Krypton, you
Wow.
fucking asshole?
Because there's only one girl on the Kryptonian ship.
Guys,
I like the idea
it's
of a
happened.
massive gangbang.
It's happened. The days of future past. Armina's gone back in time, and now we're complaining about plot holes in other movies.
I'm altering the past, guys.
Oh
It's all
no,
happening.
it's happening. We're phasing through. I'm not even going to be born anymore.
I just want to see the deleted scene now in Man of Steel where they suggest to Faora that they just they all have sex with her to make children, and she's just like, that ain't fucking happening.
Oh, hey, I should put a plug in here because a fan actually turned me on to this, and I think it's really great. There's a series out there that I'm sure is old news to everyone else, but it's the Hi, I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC. They do
Holy
a great
shit,
one. With...
Joel, get the
Oh my
fuck out
God.
of here.
Oh my god.
Did we just phase back to 2007?
Seriously, okay, we are actually phasing through time.
Time. I just found it. Ooh,
Hey,
it's
Joel,
a really
guess
clever.
what? The PS4 is actually out. Uh-huh.
no,
For real?
Joel is being smart though. He has a PS2 on top of a PS4, so he got a
He's
PS6.
got PS6 going
Joel
on
is
right
fucking
now.
I
future
do. I do actually. I
He's in
just
the
duct
past
taped
and
them
the
together.
He's in the past, he's in the future, but he cannot comprehend the current.
I think I fucked up the time stream with all the phasing I'm doing.
I am omnipresent. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. On Sabanur.
See, I just went back to 2001 and got an Xbox One.
Yeah.
True.
You know,
true.
because it's the same fucking thing.
It actually has
basically.
better games than the current one, so
Yeah.
you're lucky.
The
It's got the
original
original
Xbox
gameplay,
One,
right?
not the new Xbox One.
So what
No,
we're
I'm talking,
saying is,
I'm
I
talking
think we-
Xbox One that is like the one before the Xbox 360, because that would make more
First.
fucking sense. Really, they should have called the Xbox One the Xbox 3, but that's getting into a whole nother conversation.
But no, the PlayStation 4 is a 4. That's bigger than 3. Get it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I call it the
I
Yeah,
love,
Xbox
so-
do you
gang
know,
thing.
next generation Sony should just come out and say, oh, by the way, our next console is called the PlayStation 1.
Just to fuck with people.
Just to piss them off, just to see, like, what the fuck are you going to do about it, Microsoft?
Hurry.
No, they need to just start stealing each other's names. The Sony Wii U.
The Sony Wii 1.
Just to
Alrighty,
mess
guys. So we are
Sony
going to
Wii 1,
wrap
and
this
it'd be a really
podcast
small
up
console.
because, you know, as I said, quicker podcast, faster render, the faster you guys can get them. So,
And plus, time and space is crashing into
Right,
itself
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
so
we didn't
we'll be
talk
back.
Star Wars at all.
We'll be back next week with CBC episode 1.
Oh, we're going back in time.
Oh no,
Maybe
the
not.
time stream's been reset.